Welcome to Raregivers 2023, a global festival of wellness. My name is Crystal O'Loughlin, and I'm broadcasting from Barrett Family Ranch in Southern California. This is the home of all of our Angel Aid wellness retreats and the good work that we do. Very excited today. This is a focus on meditation, and one of our most beloved health and wellness practitioners, Padma Gordon, will be sharing her unique skills with us and her just deep meditative state. Very excited for that. For just a moment, I'm going to share with you a little bit about Angel Aid and what we are accomplishing through this month-long festival of wellness. Angel Aid is a global nonprofit. We are a network of providers for personal connection and emotional support to patients, parents, and professionals that are living heavily medicalized lives, those in the rare, chronic, and complex disease communities. These individuals feel isolated, they feel overwhelmed, and so what we do is bring daily compassion and relief into their lives. We'll talk about how we do that in a moment. Our goal is to support 3.5 million rare givers by 2026, which seems like a huge goal. It's very achievable thanks to our partnership with Microsoft and all of you, our individual donors. We're so grateful for your support. If we didn't have your support, we would not be able to provide the weekly support groups, the quarterly retreats, and just the everyday reminders of how important it is for patients and caregivers and the professionals that support them to take care of their own health and well-being. So in this slide, what you see is a couple of things. Our donation guide. So we want you to have a sense of when you donate to Angel Aid, what are we doing with the funds? And so there's various different levels. Funds that provide live calls with our mental health and wellness practitioners, that fund our support groups. We actually have acute needs around needle pokes and needle kits that we send out into the homes of families. We do host our quarterly wellness retreats, and there's an opportunity to support at the guardianship level a full year of support services, which is sort of all of the above. And then our archangels are the ones that are funding our retreats around the world. And we had a group of archangels come together, and that was how we actually were able to fund our retreat down in Mexico last year, our Australia retreat, and our men's retreat, again, which we'll talk about in a moment. So if you're a Microsoft employee, all through the month of October, your donations are matched. And in order to qualify for the match, you need to donate through the Benevity site. So if you use the QR code, or you can type in aka.ms/angelaid, then you can reach the Benevity site. And for all other supporters, please go to angelaidcares.org/give, and you can access our site there. Okay, so all of this is developed out of personal experience, lived experience with this community. It's what gives me purpose every day. It's what gives our Angel Aid team purpose as we move forward. And it all stems from the Barrett family. My parents, Richard and Phyllis, were married in 1963. And they wanted a big family. So they had a basketball team of kids, 5 kids within 8 years. And it wasn't until my mother was 8 months pregnant with her 4th son that she realized her 2nd and 3rd son were not developing in the same way that Richard, my oldest brother, was developing. He was definitely the golden child, and Jared and David were having a difficult time. They were colicky, they were fussy at night, had a hard time keeping their neck up, sitting up, weren't able to walk as quickly as Richard. And as I mentioned, my mother was 8 months pregnant with Randy when they finally diagnosed what was going on with David and Jared. And the reality is They had a rare genetic disease called Hunter syndrome or mucopolysaccharidosis. I came along as the fifth child. I was one of the first amniocentesis babies, and they said, it's a little girl and she does not have the disease. So over the next literally 2 decades, our whole family was wrapped up in the caregiving for my brothers. Eventually, Hunter syndrome did claim the life of David, Jared, and Randy. Randy passed away at 12, David at 18, and Jared at 19. And I can say that the stress of caregiving broke my parents apart. So they divorced after 11 years. And if you stick around to the end of this broadcast, what I will share with you is a love story like you can never imagine. In that time, there was honoring. In the passing of my brothers, there was this awareness, this dawning awareness in my heart and in the hearts of those in my family that our suffering was not unique. It was unique to our family, but it was shared by a global community. And what we've realized over the years is that it's this suffering that sows the seeds of empathy. And I think actually all of us can relate to that. We've been through the pandemic. We've been isolated. We've been dealing with medical uncertainty. We've been dealing with disruptions in home and work life. And it's this deep, deep empathy that we've been developing collectively as a society, and that we in the Barrett family have developed, that this empathy is what we want to bring to the community. And so we invite you to learn more about Angel Aid and think about this in a much broader term. This is not a one-off. Rare is not rare. It's a complete misnomer. Rare diseases actually impact more people than AIDS and cancer combined. And that's because you've got over 10,000 little microcosms of disease, 10,000 different rare diseases that you've heard of: cystic fibrosis, multiple sclerosis, ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, and other more obscure diseases, mucopolysaccharidosis like my brothers had, but Tay-Sachs, Duchenne muscular dystrophy, Pompe, Fabry, so many of these diseases that we've heard of. And in fact, every pediatric cancer is a rare disease. Okay, so in aggregate, we're talking about 350 million people. If you put that in very localized terms, it's 1 in 10 American families and 1 in 15 families worldwide. Okay, so these are your friends, these are your neighbors that are all living with this harsh reality. There are no cures for any rare disease. And so we call this empathy math. This is a simple equation. If you have 350 million families times 0 cures, you have a global mental health crisis on your hands. And we align this with what's happening globally through the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So under Sustainable Development Goal number 3, there's an assumption that every person on the planet has the right to pursue and be provided good health and well-being, right? And so there's so much work being done in research and science to try to find treatments and cures for these diseases. But it's that number, the 0 cures, that we focus on at Angel Aid. And the reason is we can bring relief today. We don't need to wait for the future to bear witness to the everyday struggles of our rare disease families. Okay, so we can deliver well-being, Sustainable Development Goal number 3. We can deliver well-being today. And in fact, we are. Thank you to your support and your donations, we are delivering so much rest, relaxation, so many coping skills, so many deep crisis skills. And in fact, we've grown from 7 women in our living room here at Barrett Family Ranch in Southern California to over 15,000 families around the world. We have 22 psychologists and health and wellness practitioners that are working within our community, and we've delivered over 21,000 hours of wellness training. Again, Thank you to your support and also the support of our sponsors. So we do have relationships with industry sponsors as well. This is a huge undertaking, and we do need the support of the Horizon and Ionis and Sanofi and Regenix Bio, the Ultragenics team, the PTC Therapeutics team, and EMD Serono. So thank you to our industry partners. Thank you to our technology partner, Microsoft, and also all of the patient organizations that we're a part of: Indo-US Rare, the Assistance Fund, Prader-Willi Syndrome, Remember the Girls, SCN2A, the Epilepsy Foundation of Australia, the Ehlers-Danlos Society, and the Tides Foundation, who has been underwriting our work for the last 5 years. Most recently, we started a partnership with NORD, the National Organization of Rare Diseases. They represent over 600 patient advocacy organizations, and they are endorsing our support to mental health and awareness. So thank you so much to our partners, but we can't do any of it without your support. So the many, many volunteers and those donors who make our work possible, we invite you to continue to invest in Angel Aid. We are good stewards of your work and your money, and we want to show you what we've been doing with those funds. For the first time ever, we were able to launch our Spanish-speaking wellness retreat in Mexico City, and we can't wait to do that again next year. We just need your funding and your support. We also launched our very first Australia retreat for epilepsy caregivers. This is a co-ed retreat for both mothers and fathers, and used our methodology that had been approved by Sydney General Hospital and University of New South Wales. So for the first time ever, because of your funding, we were actually able to take our wellness methodology through ethics review. Okay, we received that independent review board approval that this methodology, these retreats are making a deep, deep impact on these families. So much so that we felt like, okay, let's now bring the men together. So we hosted our first men's retreat in June of 2023. If you wonder what we do when we bring groups together, we bear witness. We are not trying to fix their loved one's disease. That is the job of researchers and scientists and all of the good industry work and the good work that's happening there. Our job at Angel Aid is to bear witness to the everyday struggles, and we do that through tools like the Raregivers Emotional Journey Map, to recognize that there's an emotional impact no matter where you are in this medicalized journey. And we can't wait for 2024 when we actually make this an interactive 3D experience. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Padma Gordon. Padma is working with our community day in and day out. She's an amazing transformational coach. She is a deeply spiritual individual. She's one of the most watched, most listened to meditation practitioners on Insight Timer. And she has prepared a very special meditation for us today. So for the next, 12, 13 minutes, I'd like to invite you to empty everything out of your hands. Let's take a deep breath together. If you'd like, you can, once we start, close your eyes, and let's hear from Padma Gordon.
Welcome. My name is Padma Gordon, and I am your meditation guide for today. I am a transformational counselor and a meditation teacher. I lead meditations regularly on Insight Timer, which is a wonderful app. And I am here today to offer you a meditation on gratitude. Gratitude for who you are inside, for who you are deep within. And this is a meditation you can practice anytime, And I really invite you to practice it again if you enjoy it. Because gratitude buoys us up. Gratitude is magnetic. Gratitude supports us and is so nourishing and really healing for us to live in an atmosphere of gratitude. Okay. So we'll meditate for about 10 minutes. And I invite you to make yourself comfortable. You can scooch in your chair or set yourself up with your pillows in your bed or on your sofa. Just what's really important is to be comfortable. Okay. So let's begin by closing the eyes. So with closed eyes, just notice how the distractions of the outside world have disappeared. The visual distractions. It's like pulling a curtain. So let's really turn the fullness of our attention to our breath. You might notice how the breath has its own natural rhythm. It rises and falls. So bringing your awareness to your breath, letting it be just as it is. You might become aware of how the breath is touching you gently on the inside. This awareness can be a signal to allow yourself to rest a little more deeply inside because you are taking this time for yourself. This is precious time to turn toward yourself with openness, with curiosity. Being curious about the experience of the breath caressing you on the inside, inviting you to sink in and down. Sink in and down into the space of your heart. And you might notice the beating of your physical heart. Just imagine that you could enter in to that sacred space of the heart to discover your nature. Just take your time. If the mind has questions, concerns, or even resistance, just notice whatever is showing up. Smile in its direction. And then begin again, offering the fullness of your attention to this mysterious and wonderful space of the heart. Bringing this open, warm curiosity to the space of the heart. Space of the heart. And as you do, just noticing to bow in gratitude for this sacred space within. Offering gratitude for who you are. Just noticing what that might be like. You might experience it as a softening, an opening, a warmth, or maybe a rush of goodness, of joy. Perhaps there is some image, or maybe you feel a sense of peace. What would it be like to say thank you? To really offer gratitude to the depths of your own heart. Maybe you whisper the words, thank you, thank you, thank you. Or maybe you simply offer your gratitude in silence. Trust your experience. Trust your experience. Whatever is happening is just right for you. Let us take this last minute or so to bask in the feeling of gratitude. Just notice, what is it like to allow gratitude with every breath? Perhaps this feeling of gratitude can expand on the inside. Maybe it feels like an embrace, a warm, gentle, steady embrace. Just rest, continuing to feel the gratitude as it moves and flows through you and all around you. Your palms together if it feels right, resting them by the heart, and bowing into this sacred space of gratitude for who you are. Slowly and gently, you can open your eyes. And I really want to invite you to take time every day, even if it's just a few minutes, to sit quietly and to offer gratitude to your own heart, to your own nature. This is a way of cultivating this relationship with your own heart, with peace and love, and grow gratitude, and see what happens. Be surprised. Thank you for meditating with me today.
Thank you for that meditation. And know that you can have more meditations with Padma throughout the month. Please check out angelaidcares.org/give, and we'll be able to show other subjects that we'll be focused on throughout our month of wellness. And I promised you a happy ending to what started out as a very tragic tale. It again is what fuels the passion and the purpose within our Angel Aid community and within me personally. That couple, Richard and Phyllis Barrett, that married in 1963, they actually remarried two more times, second marriages each ending in divorce, third marriages each ending in widowhood. So their third marriages, 20-year-long marriages to separate people, ended the same year with losing their third spouses. And the tragedy of that is profound. The joy, the circle of life, is our daughter. Chloe was born, their granddaughter. And 16 years ago, Chloe came onto the planet. And my parents, Richard and Phyllis, found their way back to each other, found their way to forgiveness and acceptance and love. And they've been back together for over 15 years now. And in April of this year, we actually married Richard and Phyllis Barrett again. We call this 60 Years of Love, 1963, and once again in 2023. So we hope that you find some inspiration, some peace, some inspired meditations in this presentation. We hope that in that inspiration, you're inspired to give to Angel Aid. This is the kind of connectedness and emotional support and the emotional connective experience that we provide to our community. And we can't do that without your donations and your support. So please do donate what's on your heart. And if you know anybody in your family or in your community, please refer them to Angel Aid if they need support services like ours. Here's a whole slew of ways that you can continue to stay connected with us. And we thank you for your time. And we thank you very much for your support.